City Lives Talk with your host, Chess. Today we have a special guest here, my beautiful oldest sister, Miss Jonte.
All right, I'm Jonte, Chesley's oldest sister.
Chess.
Oh, Chess, older sister.
Okay. So today we have my oldest sister, Jonte, and today we're gonna pretty much just cover a lot of things about sisterhood. We have a total of four girls, five girls. We have five girls. Yeah, it's five of us. Yeah, it's five girls. But today we just have one. She is the oldest. I am the youngest of the family. And again, today we're just gonna discuss a few things, about sisterhood. And also, she is a Zeta.
Yes, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Okay. And she shares that sisterhood as well. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's see what we're going to talk about here.
Right, let's go.
Okay, so again, you are the oldest. I am the youngest. The first question. What would you change if you can change anything like about your childhood? All honesty. No pressure.
I mean, it's fine. I can handle it. I think one thing, if I could change it, would be my relationship with my siblings.
That's a good answer because I was going to go there too.
Mm.
What would you change about it?
Well, considering Mom was here at your last podcast for Mother's Day, being the oldest is almost like being the second parent off paper, right? So that comes with a lot of responsibility. And I think I struggled because I was in the responsibility mode more than I feel like I should have.
Mm-hmm.
With habit, I didn't know when to turn it off and just be.
Correct.
Let me finish this. All right. Just not knowing how to be sister versus second mom, and so I think with that caused a damper into the relationship with the siblings because it went from you just supposed to be my cool big sister that I look up to. I mean, I'm sure y'all still look up to me, but it was from a different angle, a different perspective versus,
Okay, I could agree with that 100%. But it has its pros and it has its cons. Because I do feel like you think for whatever reason you are a mom.
Okay.
And now I'm the baby of the family, meaning everybody in this family is over the age of 31.
Okay.
And you still think you're the mom.
I do.
And sometimes it is overwhelming as your sister for sure. It's overwhelming sometimes as your sister because sometimes I would just prefer you to be my sister, which we have most certainly have gotten better with relationship, I will say. Maybe because you start having kids and you had somebody to for real mother.
That's possible.
So it kind of took a little turn, a good turn. It took a little turn, So I can agree with that. I can agree with that. So that would be the only chance. So you wouldn't want to be like a different number sibling?
No, not with my siblings. Lord, I need to be first. He knew. He knew because I don't know what the.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I couldn't do that. That's a lot.
Like people really don't understand. As the oldest child, I mean, it's just certain things, and some of it is natural. Like even with my children are 5 years apart, and there's certain things that Lauren just naturally feels that she should do because she's the oldest sister.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so what's something you feel like now? Like I said, our relationship has definitely changed. Well, I always kind of been attached to you, and then when I kind of grew up,
with boys,
they don't have nothing to do. But anyway, what I was about to say, So what's something you feel like maybe when you was a teenager or you was like a kid that you would want to have shared with any of your siblings during like certain time periods? Like, something, it don't even have to be traumatic, even something exciting maybe that happened, like how certain girls, like we're sisters, so we kind of share secrets and we kind of do this and do that. What's something that you probably wish you could have shared? Now that we're years later, we can't go back and change nothing, but what's something you wish you could have shared with one of your sisters?
One would definitely be relationships. And I'm sorry if I keep saying because I really don't like that. So one would definitely be relationships and the importance of education and going to college. Even though we all went to college, I think
Yeah, I was
that
about to say, I think college was stressful enough. Everybody went to school.
we all went to school, but I think the journey in which all of us took to get there,
Mm-hmm.
if the conversation about college itself, because you remember, like I wanted to go away to school, but during
Mm-hmm.
our transition of leaving New Orleans to come here to the Chicagoland area, had its pros and cons. So it was a change of plan, and I felt like if I had the right support, I would have still been able to follow my own dream with my goals and ambitions that I had set for myself. So one of
Mm-hmm.
those things to my siblings would be, no matter what, there comes a time where you have to make the best decision
For
that's right
yourself.
for you.
That is, yeah.
As a parent, you can give the guidance and the suggestion slash recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
But as the person, because this is your life and you have to deal with the consequences of your choices, choose what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I'm speaking on as far as like education, because I didn't go to the college that I wanted to go to. I didn't, even though I got accepted into the school, I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't go due
Mm-hmm.
to other things. So
Okay, well, I'm happy you kind of said that answer because I'll give you my feedback off that same thing. Now that I'm here, in which I got my degree, I got a master's, so I did go to school.
hey.
But okay, so this all piggybacks off of each other because I do wish now that you're sitting here saying that because I've never heard you say that. I honestly wish we could have had that relationship so you could have possibly told me the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just due to the fact that I actually wanted to go to Clark, Atlanta, in which I got accepted to Clark, Atlanta.
You did.
However, tying it into the relationship part, I used to be Devin crazy. Oh, Lord. But I stayed back from school because of a relationship in which it didn't work out, and that's fine. But now that's something I kind of regret because I did want to go to like a HBCU and I wanted to pledge and I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that.
Excuse me, we don't pledge anymore.
Sorry. I wanted to
Become a member.
Become a member. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to become a member of a sorority.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do that. So no, I didn't really follow any of my goals and dreams that I had as far as the college life. And I think I didn't have that support. Like how you said, I don't feel like I had that support neither from anybody. So I kind of went up the street and, I was still right around the corner, which it kind of sucks because it hindered me from learning a lot about life. Like at the age of 31, I could fend for myself, but I'm not like
your sister.
Oh, for real, fending for myself kind of person.
Keep it real, Chaz.
No, I'm going to always have a job and I make me some good money. But
Yes,
it's like
ma'am.
when it comes to certain life stuff that you're supposed to have, like even to like cooking, doing all kind of stuff, like cleaning and all that, like I didn't get the opportunity to learn that kind of stuff on my own because I always had somebody doing it for me. So now it's like all of it played a part, in the college life, but it kind of sucked because I really do regret not going away to school.
And I think that's one of the benefits of going away to college, because it does give you exposure. And you're
Yeah.
right, but also because you're the baby, we babied you. I remember when you were in college, I used to go get the groceries and bring them because you were up the
You
street.
definitely used to go buy
I would
groceries.
go get the
See, that's
groceries.
another thing. I don't even know how to grocery shop.
Bruh, that's sad.
It is.
But
it is.
But it's a blessing. I mean, at the end of the
It's a
day, like,
curse and
I
a
didn't have
blessing,
any
yes.
children, clearly. And
Yeah.
so without a transition in life, you know, one day they'll come up on your podcast, maybe, maybe not. But without a transition in life, that only drew me closer and made me even more protective of my siblings, especially the younger ones, because you all were so young when we moved here. So you're right. Even with our brother, or I mean, we just do and did, boy, and he the only boy out of all these girls. But you know, and it's like now everybody's like, well, why is it? But when you sit back and you look at it, Chess don't cook because Chess didn't have to. Chess don't grocery shop because Chess didn't have to.
But let me tell you how good God is, because every man cooks.
Don't he come through?
So I don't have to starve. That's good. That's good. That's
he
a blessing.
Supply. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Like I told Mom last podcast, I can't speak on everyone, just my own personal experience. How do you feel like I could have been a better sibling to you?
Listen.
Okay, that's very vague, but that goes a long way, because sometimes, Jonte, you feel like you're the oldest, but you're not always right. And I think you and I are very similar, which causes us
similar how?
You're opinionated kind of, or you make your decisions and you set in your ways, and I am the same. Like if I say no, it's gonna be this. You bossy, I'm bossy, so it's like we're really, really similar. So that can cause a clash, even though we don't clash for real. But it's like
competitive, but we don't clash. But it's a good competition. It's not a bad one.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. It's a good competition. So, but what could I have listened to?
I mean, I was just being facetious, but I don't know. I think you've done good. I think you've done good outside of those certain relationships that I'd rather not, discuss. Going away to college, I don't think that I would put much on you, because, like you said, I'll take the ownership and accountability, because of the simple fact that I was more of mom versus big sister. So you responded as such, which is only right?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Instead when I respond as mom, you respond like the rebellious little sister. By right, you could have, because I technically on paper wasn't your mother. So I mean, and for the most part, you did. I mean, you wasn't the worst kid. You had
Who
them
was
out.
The worst?
I'd rather not say. They're not here to defend themselves. They shall remain nameless. But in all honesty, I think that you really didn't give me like those problems. Like I don't even remember whipping you or anything.
Yeah, because I was like your child.
You were.
I was rubbing your arm and rubbing your leg.
Don't tell the people that. Indeed.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, what's a memory that we kind of share that a good memory that we share that kind of maybe if you're having a bad day and you just think of me, what would be that memory? And don't say nothing about you got left at the playground and I don't want to hear that.
All right, because it was horrible. And like when I told you not to drink out the pop can and you did anyway and cut your lip.
Let's not talk about that. I was just
devastated.
Let's not talk about that.
But I think you're like that one in the family that even in the worst situation, like you comes with that positive, and it's like, dude, okay, I ain't even think of that. I ain't gonna tell all of that, but that was cool. Okay, so it's like you bring that that extra thought process that I probably wouldn't think about, or I would have, just not at the time. So it's like your brain functioned brought it up a little bit quicker than I did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like certain family situations, you would always see the positive. Not always. I don't want to use the
For the most
absolute
part,
word,
I
but for the
try
most
to.
part,
Yeah,
yeah.
I try to remain positive in
Mm.
most situations. I try.
If
But
you're not crying, but go ahead.
well, I'm gonna cry. That's
True.
gonna happen. But I'm gonna still try to get, through it. I think my favorite memory with us when we went to Tennessee and they made me and you share a
Oh
room
my god,
for
girl,
whatever
jeez,
reason.
who thought of
And
that?
it was
I
like
don't
a
even know,
raccoon or something in the wall. And
girl.
we was quiet because you was listening. You were listening in and I was listening in. And then we was reading each other minds. And then next thing you know, we both just jumped up
It
at
fell
the
all
same
down the
time
stairs,
and
woke the
ran
whole
down the
house up.
stairs and woke everybody up telling
Sure
them it was
did.
stuff in our room. I think that will forever be
The one.
the one. I
Yeah,
think so.
I agree.
Okay, so since we're talking about like childhood kind of stuff, do you feel like in some kind of way any of your siblings have let you down with anything or
Let me down as far as what?
anything like expectations out of us and if we didn't come through with certain things it kind of let you down or um just making life decisions or even being there for you in times of need, which we really didn't never really know about because you never really disclosed that kind of stuff with us. So
Mm.
I don't even know what you ever really went through, kind of.
Well, I would say, and again, that comes under that parental part, which is also, like I said, is not the best.
Mhm.
Like you all, I feel like you'll need to know all of this stuff because I don't want to, dump my stuff. I feel like I was strong enough. I could handle and take care of me. I just need you all to focus on yourselves.
But if
And
you feel like you could take care of you, and then you're trying to take care of others, who's gonna really take care of you?
and that's that part. That's
Oh,
it.
I mean,
Sips this. So so I think like that's honestly the part. Because it's like once you empty, who gonna fill it up, Who takes care of the
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
But honestly, I don't think so. I outside of I, everybody went to school. Some finished, some didn't. Some went back because your timing is your timing.
mhm.
I just wanted one of the biggest things was that I wanted my siblings to be successful. Um,
Do you feel like you're successful?
no,
Why? Well, I'm gonna say this: success is everybody has their
I was
own
about to
different
say
definition for success,
true,
and someone can look at you and feel like
and they
Deontay is pretty successful,
yeah.
But why do you feel like you're not successful? Like, what goals have you set, or something that you didn't reach or accomplish yet? I mean, and success don't stop just because you
Right.
accomplish one
So it's
thing,
those small goals, which is why I said I don't feel like I don't feel like everything has been accomplished. So
Mhm.
my like you said, that's what I was gonna say, that everybody's measurement of success is different, right?
Mhm.
So and you jump because I had a answer to the other question that you asked me, but um everyone's measurement of success. So my thing, yes, I went to school, but I was always a good student.
Mhm.
So saying, "Oh, she went and got all of these degrees," that wasn't the doctorate was I think the most challenging, but that's expected, right? But outside of that, when was I not a good student?
Mhm.
So that to me, I just kept doing what I already knew to do, which is go to school, get an education. So I don't consider that. Somebody else might, but
Yeah.
me, I'm just like, I mean, I went to school, but I'm education is my thing. So far as like businesses, um, having the financial freedom, and that even comes with periods of life. Like when
Mhm.
I first moved out of our parents' house, I was straight. I had a bag.
Mhm.
I wasn't one that felt like soon as I got grown, which is whatever people's thoughts of being grown was, that I had to leave my parents' house. I didn't leave until I was 32, 33. because I felt like I wasn't in a relationship. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. What do I need my own for? What am I trying to prove to somebody? My parents ain't talking about me getting put out.
Right.
I was never the child that hung out in club and stuff like that. So it wasn't a matter of coming in 3-4 o'clock in the morning drunk and all, because that just never was me. So being home at a respectable time, and if I wasn't coming home, I communicated and let them know like I'm not coming. So I was able to save. Did I have money to say like here's it? But our parents, we were blessed. They're like, be here, stack your money. We're going to pay our bills. You don't have to be here. So that was cool. Shout out to those parents who do that with their children and don't put them out at 18 because they're not ready. I wasn't ready at 21. Okay. But anywho, so just doing that. And for my siblings, my biggest thing was just, making sure you all went to school, got educations. I think a lot of that came from when we were growing up. And I've shared with you all. I even made Facebook posts about family members, who said different things and spoke negatively over our lives from our childhood experiences, what they thought we were going to be. Like people say, I remember it was a comment made that I, being the oldest, and because our mom had me, she was pregnant with me at 16, but she had me at 17. And because I was the motherly figure of you all, I was just training myself to be a mom early. I had my first child until 35, 36.
That part, sister.
Come on. So, and married, good and married, homeowner, all of that good stuff. But these were things that family stated over us. Like when sisters, in New Orleans, y'all wore Daisy Dukes. That was a thing. Short shorts. Talked about my sisters at the DJs on the street, all that kind of stuff. How fast we were and all this. And I'm just so grateful that none of the things that they spoke over us was the things that actually took place. And I think for me, that was big for me. Like I wanted my sisters to be successful in the sense of whatever your measurement of success was. None of us were teen moms. All of us went to college. All of us are doing very well out, money. We ain't broke. Cars. We ain't homeless. We it's none of those things that take place. And it's just like that for me. It's like they did it. That's what I wanted. Some may say, well, you just tried to prove a point to other people. Sometimes people's thoughts and views of us helps us with creating and setting our goals.
100%.
So
agree.
You say what you want, you take what you want, but my siblings did that. Hello.
For sure. Let them know.
I did.
Okay, let me ask you this. Get a little steamy real quick. Just a little spicy.
Lord.
Just a little spicy.
Just a little bit.
Okay, so like we said, it's 5 girls, right? Has there ever been a time in your life that you felt jealous-hearted of one of your siblings? Not Doobie.
Because why would I be jealous of Doobie? Girl, that would be a problem. I need to go to the counselor. All right.
Whether it was a teenage years, whether it was adult years, has there ever been like a time you felt jealous of any of your siblings?
I wouldn't call it jealousy. But we all know that I'm not the sibling that knows how to do hair, right? Or the sibling that is into the fashion the deepest, like you and Quenisha. So I wouldn't say it's jealousy, but it's like, bruh, if my sister don't come and do something to my head, I'm gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So it was just like, man, when y'all get dressed, I'm like, don't they look so cute? And I be at home sitting there trying to figure this stuff out, and I don't have that fashion thing in a sense. So I wouldn't call it jealous. It's like I just wish I had a little bit, And then it was worse when because you all moved out before me. Well, not you, but Quenisha did. So when she left, it was like, dang, I ain't got nobody to even, look at to see how to put these clothes together, what it looked like, all of that good stuff. But it wasn't in the sense of jealousy at all.
Okay.
Because all of us, you
move to your own pace.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. So You're not the first mother of the siblings. Clarice actually is. How does that make you feel like that? I don't know if you had those motherly views like, oh, I'm going to be a great mom. I want to be a mom. Or, some people feel like things should go in order. Like the oldest supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. Then it kind of comes slowly. But two of your siblings had children before you. Mm-hmm. Did that make you feel any kind
of my siblings?
3 of your
siblings. 4
of
my siblings. 4. All of them. Erin is older than Lauren.
Is she?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
not me.
Not you, Chess. But I'm saying all of my siblings that have children, all of their children, their oldest child, their first child is before my child. Everybody's.
And how does that make you feel?
I don't care. Because those children mine. I guess I'm a woman from them. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
No, I mean, it's whenever Quenisha moved out before me. Quenisha got married before me. Mm-hmm. And I was there to celebrate and help the whole way. Like, I don't, that's foolishness. I mean, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to offend anybody. But to me, that wasn't that wasn't of importance. It happened when it happened.
Okay, so let's get into your love life, kinda.
Okay. Girl, because I got almost married. How many times? I had children's names for everybody I dated. Lord.
Okay, so yeah, let's take it back to all of that. Because again, I didn't really get to experience a lot of stuff with you because during those times I really was like a child. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know the backstory of a lot of people. So like, brother-in-law, you probably know. But who was like your first real love?
Nathan Parker.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
We lived on
across the street
from us. Oh, brother Nathan Parker. Yeah.
So when I had seen him. Yeah, when I went to New Orleans, like maybe 3 years ago, I seen him.
Really?
At a bar. And he knew me. And I was surprised.
I think you told me that.
Because I was a child the last time he seen me. But he knew me. Maybe because I was with Quenisha and Courtney. I don't know. Okay, so how did that go? Like, how did all of that work out? What happened?
I mean, what you mean? Like, what happened? Like, why we broke up?
No, how y'all started dating? Well, of course,
because, we lived he lived across the street from us.
How old were you?
We were dating for my 16th birthday. Because, my best friend, Paul, like, I couldn't have a boyfriend. So, I think I was 16.
Okay.
I want to say I was 16 or about to be 16. Mm-hmm. And he lived across the street on France Street. 1933 France Street.
I know you lying, baby. Hold
on. New Orleans, Louisiana, 70117.
Oh, Jesus.
So he was just the guy who lived across the street. I remember when we first moved in there, he was sitting on the porch with his dad when we moved in or whatever. And him and his dad came over. They introduced themselves. And, it just went from there.
Okay. So what about your first heartbreak? How did that
Do you want me to say the person's name or no? Because they're going to probably watch your podcast.
Who is it?
Nope, I said... No,
okay, don't say that name.
No name dropping.
Baby, when you come with the tea, I need all the tea. I need the name.
Okay, the honest
everything.
Truth, the first one was Terrence. Because remember, Terrence was like my second.
See, now I thought Terrence was like your first love.
No, you can't forget about Nathan because Nathan was in New Orleans. Because I was dating Nathan when we moved to Chicago.
Okay, so Terrence was your first heartbreak.
Mm-hmm. Because Nathan, we broke up because, like, long distance, At first in my mind, I was like, once I graduate high school, I'm moving, probably back to New Orleans,
so
whatever.
You had the chess mind, okay.
Yeah, it didn't work out. Because, first of all, we ain't moved back. Still here. All right, whatever.
Okay. So, when you had the heartbreak with Terrence, how did you handle that?
It was hard only because we went to church together and I still saw him.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
And then it was like, yeah, this is for the birds. So, and then, everybody at the church, because, we had talked about getting married, like all of this stuff. And it was just crazy. It was crazy. And I think it was a lot of church influence because we was at church. Like with everybody knowing that we was together and all of
So
this
they
kind of
wanted y'all
stuff.
to be like happily ever after.
Yeah,
married.
it was like that influence. Like,
Wait, how old were you when y'all broke up?
Terrence and I, ooh, girl, maybe 24, 25.
That's still early.
Maybe.
That's the start of the hot girl season.
Not hot girl season, but I wasn't a hot girl.
I know,
Still
sister,
not.
I know. That's okay.
Man, it's okay.
It happened to your little sister. It's okay.
There you go. Tell the truth. It missed me. I was mother.
That's okay, sister. That's okay. So
yeah, I think I was like 24. Because when we moved to Chicago, I still was dating Nathan till we moved to Cal City. Because remember, we was on 71st Street 1st. And then yep.
Okay. And so it was just harder because of the simple fact that y'all kind of went to church together and all that other little stuff. So do you regret like those relationships?
No.
Because
it was learning things. Like even now, I feel like you take from it what you need. And then it's like, a fish. Eat the meat.
You was kind of an adult at that time. So do you feel like your previous relationships kind of set you up to be the wife that you are
I
now?
think so.
Okay. And about your husband, my amazing brother-in-law.
Yes, that's babe. Hey, Jay. Hey.
Yeah, that's my producer.
Shout out to These Blessed Hands Productions.
For sure. So how does that work? Like, how did you feel about like being a wife? What made you feel like one day I could be a wife?
Well,
Like
I already knew that
like?
I was going to be a wife because my grandmother told me that I was.
Grandma
Mother Vivian Ruby.
Okay.
So I knew it. It was just, of course, like I said in the beginning, every guy, I was like, oh, we getting married. I used to have remember all my nieces, my sister Clarice's children.
Lord Jesus.
All their middle names is from one of the guys I was dating. Don't ask. I'm not saying who.
Okay, I'm gonna mind my business.
Please do. But all of their middle names were the children that I once thought I was going to have with him. So I gave the middle names to them. All of them start with an R. Ooh, Lord help us. So, yeah.
Thank God.
But here we get to Jeremiah Terrell Winters. The funny thing is, I'm 4 years older than JT. If people didn't know.
brother-in-law.
Yes, he got him. He got him.
He got a cougar.
First of all, it's 5 years for a cougar. Don't do that. It's only four.
Oh,
but
Lord Jesus.
I didn't even like JT. Like he was younger. I was over the youth department. So he was like one of the kids in the youth department. I was his youth leader. Like, ain't that some mess?
You was
But I will say he was persistent. He would not let up. I remember for like a year and a half when I was working in the finance room, every Sunday he would come upstairs to speak. Like, dude, okay. Every Sunday he'll come upstairs. Hey, I was just saying hello. I'm like, hi. And I'm like, he's so
what
weird.
made you give him a chance? How did we get to that part?
I'm not going to talk about that part.
Why? Oh, no, because now I want to know. I'm going to be calling him.
Our pastor at the time.
Okay.
So I'll never forget. It was first Sunday in December. I don't know the year. I don't remember.
Okay.
But, for communion. Oh, my husband said it was 2014. So we were going around for communion. You know how we go around there. You hug, and then the pastor is the last person.
Hold on. I know he ain't hug you tight.
Who? The pastor?
No, JT.
No, JT. JT was on the organ, girl. You stupid. No, girl, you stupid. He was on the organ playing.
I thought he was up there with the
and so the pastor gave me a hug, and then he said, I think you should give Jeremiah a chance. Jeremiah, like, what? That was random. What are you talking about? Whole time, mind you, we in the communion line. People are behind me waiting, and we having this whole discussion. And I was like, who is Jeremiah? He pointing like JT, like doing like messy, doing like this. And I said, JT, him right there? Oh, no, girl, I was livid. I remember I got in the car. I called Peanut. That was my friend at the time. And I was like, girl, you would not believe how childish JT is. Like, why would you have the pastor running game for you, talking to me? Why couldn't you be a man and talk to me yourself? Like, all of that. So I text JT because I had his number because he was in the U department. Mm-hmm. So I text him and I was like, I need you to call. Girl, when he called me.
You went off on
baby, after communion. Went clean
my brother. And y'all, my brother-in-law so sweet. He's so sweet to us.
He didn't know. He was trying to diffuse the situation. I was on 1,000. I was like, because you ain't never about to play me like that. I don't need. If you want to talk to me, you come step to me. You don't need nobody else. Whole time, this young man didn't even tell the pastor to do that. The pastor just did it. He just did it on his own. Girl, I know you lying.
Jesus.
So
did you apologize for that?
Did I apologize, husband? I'm so sorry.
Okay, so y'all, here we are. My sister, she's growing here. So you're going to give a live apology.
Jeremiah Terrell Winters. Yeah. Say yes. I said yes. Oh, okay. I do apologize for that. Okay? I do apologize. Do you accept? Yeah. All right, good.
Okay,
thank you.
Great. Okay, yeah. That's
so, good. Because you know I do. So, yeah. And then after that, he would still come up there. He speak all of that. So one day he was like, just one date. And I was like, I'm going to get this boy just one, just so he could leave me alone. So I agreed to one date. We went to see the Blue Man Group.
The Blue Man Group
is so good downtown. Look it up. It's nice. It's really nice. So anyway, we went to see the Blue Man Group, and he came to my apartment. Like, he came to pick me up. Mm-hmm. Like a real day. It was really nice. He had really thought it. And I got this, the Zeta picture, that big one that's in my office at the house. And It's in that big old frame. Yeah. That's what he brought on the first date. He gave me that. It was so nice. I was like, really, oh my God. He had really thought the gift through. Yeah. And I was like, okay, we'll do this one.
A lot of men don't show up with gifts and all that stuff.
And he did. So that was a good green. I was like, okay, check. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. He wasn't pushy, because previous relationships, I think people felt like because I had so much to, they wanted to wine and dine without whining and dining, if that makes sense. Like, just buy things when I'm not a materialistic person. Mm-hmm. I prefer time and creativity, because buying things I could do for myself, hence the fact I have my own money. Like, that's not what drives me, you know.
She did make clear when she first started talking, she said, I don't need you to buy me no flowers, I don't need you to take me on no date,
I did.
I don't need you to take me nowhere, I don't need.
Now you left that part of the story out. Now why?
Because
would you say
I felt
that?
like I can do those things myself.
So what you wanted him to do?
But see, he went and bought a really nice. I wouldn't have bought that picture. It was framed already. It was ready to go on the wall. Like, be creative. Like, don't do the typical. Okay. I could do the typical things my own. There's nothing to walk in the store and like, oh, these flowers are cute. But when you do over the, something like that, like, who just goes and says, I'm going to buy this.
Nothing you can really forget.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's what it meant. Not like, dude, don't do all of that. Be unique, right?
Okay. Do you see that, like, if you were a guy, do you feel like you could date yourself?
No.
I feel the same way about myself. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could date me. Now, why would you say that? No, honestly, why would you say something like, I can't date myself?
I'll say this. And
we have a lot of similarities. I'm sitting here figuring this out.
But I'll say this one thing, as long as you don't go deep into it. That's a disclosure.
See, nah, that's not fair.
It is fair.
Come on, what?
All right. So, before we got married and knowing all, like, this, learning me, he in order for us to move further, he made me go to, I had a, what is it called, babe? What's they called? An ultimatum. Mm-hmm. To go, in order to go further in the relationship, I had to see a counselor.
Okay.
And so when that happened, I was like, okay.
Now you see, I like that though, because typically, the world sets us up as women are the prize. But here you have a young man, and you are. But here you have a young man who also knows his worth, and he's like, I'm not going to deal with all this foolishness that you got to come with. So you gotta do something too. So I actually like that. That's pretty good. See, I didn't know that neither. Mm-hmm. That's good. So what would you change about yourself as a wife? Like, do you feel like you're a great wife or a good wife? Always room for improvement.
Always.
But like, how do you feel like, how did you even know that you was ready to marry him?
Once I did the counseling,
Mm-hmm.
I did do the sessions and at first I was like just doing it, like whatever, let me just get it out because I really like him, really love him, all of that stuff. But when I realized in going, all that came out, because growing up in the church acts like counseling is, you don't need counseling, but you do.
You do. Absolutely.
I got Jesus and the counselor. Okay.
That's why he put him here.
There you go. They're a doctor for my mind. Just like we have a doctor for our leg, our diabetes, our heart pressure, and all of this other stuff. That's the doctor for my mental. Yeah. And I'm not ashamed of it. I stand flat footed on it. And so once I did that, I didn't realize how much was jam packed, like up in there. And so once half of it, because I probably need another session, go again. But once I felt that I was at the place of cleanliness, getting all of that out, then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. Well, I don't think I'm ready.
You kind of ready. Okay. So did you ever second guess yourself being a wife? Like,
no.
Mm-mm. So at that time you was a Zeta. You are a Zeta, but you was a Zeta at that time. So like, did you discuss this kind of stuff with like your sorority sisters, or no?
What you mean?
Like your relationship status with JT? Because I know like your sorority sisters are older than you. Your line sisters.
My line sisters?
Yeah, your line sisters are older than you. So like certain things, like, do you feel like you was able to discuss those things with them versus your biological sisters, or how did that go?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, on the part of one was divorced twice, I believe. One still married, have 2 children, have a family, in church, all of that ideal. So I had I had these blueprints, and discussions were done in the sense of wisdom, sharing that knowledge, because by me being the oldest, it was all how it was put together. I think God put it together like that because both of them are older than me. So those are the big sisters that I didn't get. So certain information they would share with me, as far as being a wife, being a mother, and balancing being married in a relationship in Zeta, right? Because that's important as well. And so that aspect, but not like getting down in the nitty gritty of the actual relationship stuff.
That's fine. So let me ask you this. You had a younger sister though, who's also married, and she has a kid at that time. It was only William, I think.
Will.
And so why didn't you go to her for like advice or whatever, like marital advice, or just to get that idea, like whatever you looked for them? Because granted, they are your line sisters, they are older. It may be more maturity, but you still have a younger sister who's married at the time, who still, by the way, is married, with a well put together family, why didn't you go to her or talk to her about those kind of things?
So I didn't even go to them.
Okay.
It was just like, if we were out at a conference and, we were roommates at like our Zeta conferences, whether it was state, regional, national, whatever, or if we were at a retreat or something, the conversation, it would just come up. Like, it just would be a random situation. Like, if one was on the phone with her husband and she'll say, such and such, and it'll spark a conversation. So it never was what, I need to talk. Let's talk about this. What do you think about? It was never that type of setting.
Okay. So we're going to start wrapping it up a little bit. So in conclusion, like, how would you want to go forward, like, with your relationships? How do you feel like you can better your relationships with all of your siblings?
I start with my sister in New Orleans, Clarice. I think because she's the farthest away,
Furthest.
Furthest. Farthest. Furthest.
Furthest.
Farthest. Whichever. Tomato. Whatever. So, talking with her more. I mean, we do talk. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, we talk. We, because that's our sister. Like, granted, whatever. That's our sister, blood sister. So, being there for her, with different things and being available to help her, being there, more support. Even though I can't be there for everything because I am here and she's down there. But I think she needs the most, if that makes sense, because she's the farthest away. So even if I don't have the in-person time, she can at least get the phone time, telecommunication. Okay. And then moving from her, then my sisters that's here, I think we do very well. We're together, but just having more sister time.
Yeah.
Leave these kids with their people.
That's what I was about to say. As the baby sister with no children, there was once a part of time before all of the kids came. I think it was just Lil Will as the kid. We used to do a lot of sister timing, going downtown, just shopping, hanging out, doing whatever. And now everybody is getting married. Everybody's having children, having their families. And I'm not saying y'all forgot about me, because you absolutely cannot forget about me. But going back to like our sister time and just randomly buying gifts again and just showing appreciation or that love, for just in case purposes. I feel like we definitely should get back to doing that kind of stuff too.
I agree. I think it's important. And then, like I said, life is happening. We see that people, and the crazy thing is friends of ours all admire our sister.
Yes, that is true.
Granted, you and Quenisha are the closest, but we all still are together. Even when Clarice comes to visit, it's like we're the sisters. We do be kids, and we just roll with how we roll.
Okay, we the junior Braxton.
There you go, because it's literally one of us from every time. When I used to watch the Braxton Family Values, I was like, "There's this one."
Who would I be?
You want me to tell you? Tamar.
Okay, get this lady out.
Well, who was our sister?
For sure, Tony.
I know.
For sure, you are Tony.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I thought you was gonna remember. You used to call me Eva from Deliver Us from Eva.
Yeah, you You come a long way, sister.
I did.
You come a long way. Okay.
Boyfriends didn't like me. All of that.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It is. I don't care.
Okay, yeah.
I'm very hard.
Well, hopefully, you'll be a good sister-in-law one day to my husband.
Okay.
Who else? But so thank you guys for tuning in today with me and my sister Jonte here.
Yes.
As we discuss the greatness of sisterhood, the good and the bad. More so good over bad. For everyone out there who have siblings, love your siblings genuinely. So much is going on in this world, you guys. Just love them. Even if it's hard for you to talk to them, just give them a hug here and there, But for the most part, again, thank you for coming out here, sister, to do this podcast with me. And thank you guys for tuning in to Pretty Lips Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week for episode 3. Have a good one. Bye.